Mr. Ini Effiong. He's one of the lawyers to Mr. Omoyele Sowore. He joins us from our Lagos studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Effiong, for coming on the program tonight. Let's begin by getting clarification and getting your own side of the story. From what the presidency has said and what the DSS is saying, the DSS said that none of the men is in that courtroom and their men were not the ones seen in scuffle with Mr. Sowore. What's your side of the story?
Mr. Shehu, the first point I want to make is that the Nigerian media should take a responsibility to ask Mr. Peter, the spokesperson of this agency, where the name DSS or Department of State Services originates from. This is a fundamental point. There is no agency known to law as Department of State Services. The only agency cognizable, established, created, and recognized under the National Security Agencies Act is State Security Service, otherwise abbreviated as SSS. In insisting on the rule of law, we must also make the point that the only agency known to law is SSS or State Security Service. Now, on the subject of discussion, I have listened to Mr. Gabashehu. I have read the press statement of the State Security Service. I have also carefully read the statements of the presidency or the statement of Mr. Shehu on behalf of the president. The summary is that what they have said is a perfect and a classic case for Night of 1,000 Laughs. It is a demonstration of the highest level of disdain for the sensibility of the Nigerian people. What are the facts? Mr. Omoyele Sowore was granted bail along with the second defendant, Mr. Bakare. Since they were granted bail, because of the stringency of the conditions, we could not even immediately perfect their bail conditions. We went back to court, made an application for variation. The court graciously variated those conditions, even though what is left are still stringent, some of which we are now at the Court of Appeal contesting. We were able to perfect those conditions. My Lord,
so apologies that I'm butting in. I would like you to, because there are a few issues for us to deal with. So I'd like us to stay on the questions that I ask so that we can get to the root of the matter. The question here is, the DSS has said, none of our men is in that courtroom. From your own side of the story, is that true?
That is absolutely false. And I say that on my honor as a legal practitioner. And I say that as a Nigerian with reputation. The officer that held Sowore down in the video you displayed, I say it publicly and I challenge them to deny it. His name is Marshall. I have met him several times in court. I know the individual. But beyond Mr. Marshall, I have also, before this program, given another video which you may wish to play for Nigerians to watch, clearly showing armed men, armed operatives of the SSS who were judged by the court. What transpired was that when the proceedings was going, we got credible information that there was an attempt to rearrest Mr. Sowore and Mr. Bakare. Our lead counsel, Mr. Femi Falana, drew the attention of the learned judge to this attempt to rearrest them. Guess what? The lawyer to the SSS, Dr. Azan Liman, in open court, a senior advocate of Nigeria, denied and told the court that no, there was no such attempt. But we were proven right because immediately after Sowore's case was adjourned and the judge was still sitting and Sowore was we were exiting the door. The officers of the State Security Service who were inside the courtroom, not outside, dressed in mufti, made moves towards Mr. Sowore. Those of them who were armed, some of them who were masked, I have given you the video before now, masked, also made efforts to force him outside of the court. That was what led to what you saw when some of our people resisted. That look, Nigeria is not a banana republic. Section 43 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 clearly states that arrest cannot be effected in any courtroom. Mr. Shehu, supposing without conceding that what they are even saying is correct. Even if Sowore had run back into the court, can you arrest him while the judge was still sitting? The answer is no. But what took them to the court is the question they have refused to answer. Nigerians are aware that Sowore was released on the 5th of December.
Let's speak to the video, and I hope my producer can also put back that video in that box so that you can see as you're watching. You can see right there in the studio on the monitor there that video, and you probably may speak to it. The DSS is saying, look, that a critical look at the videos in circulation would convince any objective viewer that there was no DSS personnel during the entire period the Sowore crowd acted out its orchestrated drama. And they said that, the DSS is saying that they carried out the arrest outside.
That is absolutely false, because the intent had been made clear. In the video you have just played, Nigerians should look to the right. You will see more than 5 SSS officials, fully armed, just by the door of the court. Mr. Shehu, Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu's court is on the 4th floor at the Federal High Court. On the 4th floor, Court 7. They climbed the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor, fully armed. What took them there if they are saying their intention was not to arrest Mr. Sowore and disrupt the proceedings? They couldn't have arrested him because the court of law is like a shield. It is a sacred institution. It is like someone running into an embassy. You cannot arrest somebody in the court.
There's a man wearing a red kaftan. Who is that man? Is he on the side of Mr. Sowore or not? There is also a man, now his face is now popular in some of the videos, who was wearing a suit but without a tie and a white shirt. Is that a DSS official or a friend to Sowore?
What I can confirm to you is that some of the persons you have seen there were officials of the SSS. One of them, I just gave you his name. Challenge the spokesperson of this agency. I'm saying it on national TV. Let him deny that the man holding Sowore down is not Marshall, the operative. There is also some of them who dress as lawyers, who disguise them. And we are also working to investigating to unravel their names and identity. So I can confirm to you that some of them usually accompany us to court. I have been in that court for Sowore's matter on a couple of times since this matter started. I know these people. I have seen them. So for them to now say the officials or operatives were not in court is nothing but a lie. But guess what? Even after this thing had happened, do you know that the honorable judge invited the prosecutor, Dr. Azan Liman, and our lead counsel, Mr. Femi Falana, into his chambers? The State Security Service, the person who led that team, they apologized to the learned judge. Dr. Azan Liman denied that he was aware that that attempt was made, that they had that intention. Why are they now coming to deceive Nigerians that they did not plan this? But guess what?
Mr. Effiong, another very important issue here is that the DSS is defending the reason for Sowore's arrest. Are you aware, as one of his lawyers, on the new charges we understand has been leveled against him?
I can confirm to you on national television that as I speak to you this moment, no fresh charge has been filed in any court in Nigeria against Mr. Omoyele Sowore. No fresh charge has been filed. But even if you have filed a fresh charge, even if supposing you believe he has committed a fresh offense, what were they supposed to do? Sowore is standing trial, and that is the point the learned senior advocate made. He's standing trial on the order of the court. He's standing trial after being released on bail. What should they have done if they believe they have a fresh charge against him? They should have filed their charge. As of Friday, we confirmed they hadn't done that.
Listen to a portion of the DSS statement. The DSS says that it may be recalled that the service had on the 3rd of December 2019 raised an alarm about a plot to destabilize the country. It is quite remarkable that the plot has already started playing out. That's what the DSS is saying. Are you aware of the allegation of a transnational activities linked to Mr. Sowore as alleged by the DSS, and perhaps what they call, what is the activities that are inimical to the security of the country?
The allegation is fictional. It is a perfect script for Nollywood, and I'm using this opportunity to invite producers in Nollywood to contact the State Security Service and Malam Garba Shehu, obtain these statements, record it, and sell for Nigerians to buy. This is just national comedy. What they have said have no basis in fact or in law. There is no such crime, and there is presumption of innocence. Even if Sowore has done anything, the decision of guilt is exclusive preserve of the court under Section 6 of the Constitution. Nigeria is supposedly a constitutional democracy. The president swore to uphold the Constitution. And for them to say that, oh, he addressed people at a hotel, that is false. But even if Sowore has breached the terms of his bail,
sorry, apologies,
the only authority that can
I have
sanction
two
him is the
questions
court.
for you before we go on our next break. Are you aware of the whereabouts of Mr. Olawale Bakare? The DSS says that they have not arrested him. Are you aware of his whereabouts?
Well, we don't want to join issues with them on whether they are looking for Mr. Bakare or not. They have said they are not looking for him. We hope they are not looking for him. But that ultimately, they will have to explain his whereabouts, because I know, as a fact, that the State Security Service is interested in the whereabouts of Mr. Bakare, and they have to explain his absence. But if they are now saying they are not looking for him, we are hoping that Mr. Bakare is safe.
Do you know where he is? Have you been in contact with him?
I haven't spoken with him because I haven't seen him. They brought him to court. They have a responsibility to account for his whereabouts. But if they are saying that Mr. Bakare, they are not looking for him, we are hoping that he is safe. We don't want to join issues with them on that point.
Let me quickly ask you this final question, and it's going to be, what is the next step for you and your client, including Mr. Falana, who is also representing Mr. Sowore? What are your next steps? Quickly, in 30 seconds.
Well, I can confirm to you that we had a strategic meeting this afternoon. I was there with Mr. Femi Falana and some other members of the legal team. We have several options on the table. But the message we are sending to Nigerians is that this is not about Sowore. If Nigeria is going to be a country that will be respected by the international community, that investors will have confidence to come and invest, there has to be adherence to the rule of law. So we are demanding unconditional release of Sowore. Sowore, as I speak to you, is still enjoying the bail granted him by the court. They have a constitutional obligation under Section 287 of the Constitution to comply with the order of the court granting him bail. Since they have now denied that they had no intention of arresting him, let them now release him immediately. But tomorrow, if by tomorrow morning Mr. Sowore is not released, Nigerians will now see clearly that ab initio from the beginning, this has never been about any intention to fight crime, but merely political vendetta. Why? Because
Mr. Effiong,
under the Constitution,
we must leave it at that, and let's allow the senior advocate here to give us his final thoughts on this matter. Where do you think this is going to? Is getting dirty, is it? What do you think is the solution to this matter?
Well, thank you so much. The simple solution is that the State Security Service, popularly known as DSS, must, and I say that with every sense of responsibility, must be ready to comply with the orders of the court and allow the judicial process to run its course.
Do you think the president, according to the NBA, some of your colleagues are asking for the sack of the DSS head?
Well, I will not subscribe to that. But what I will simply say is that there is a need for us to rejig that department. There's a need for us to rejig it. And they should stop operating.
Because a lot of people will say, from what happened in that, if it were in other crimes, probably earth would have rolled by now.
Yes. But don't forget that, one, the director of SSS reports to the president directly. But being an agent of the president, it is not compulsory that every decision he takes, he must get the clearance of the president.
We need to leave.
So my position, finally, is that, look, every agency, the police, the military, the Air Force, the customs, every paramilitary agency in this country must come to the realization that they are subject to the Constitution.
All right. We are in a democratic, constitutional
democracy.
Thank you so much, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Eyewitness, thank you so much for your thoughts. We wish you the very best in the coming days.